So I wanted to make a little video about Superior Drummer. 'Cause I've been having a lot of fun with it. And this isn't going to be a traditional instructional video. This is just my kind of thing, which is I'm excited about this because I like it, and I'm just sharing that. But I will do my best to show some things. So basically, if you have any familiarity with Easy Drummer or Superior Drummer, it's the same thing. Superior's just got more features. But basically what we're looking at is, you instantiate it as a plugin or as a virtual instrument in your DAW. I work in Nuendo, which is basically Cubase, but you can put this into any DAW. And the way it first comes up is just as one stereo channel, and there's a default drum kit, there's a default library that it comes with, but you can also buy extension packs. So for instance, I bought the Eddie Kramer pack, where I guess he produced the recording of the drums at a certain studio, and I also bought, there's a Nashville package, and that's actually what's up right now. But the flexibility of it is, you can go through with each individual drum and swap them out if you want. Really, the way that the software works is it's samples of drums, but it's also MIDI patterns performed by drummers. And that's really, it's kind of amazing. Like that, it works better than any other software I've run into, where you basically it'll lock to the tempo of your project, and you can disassociate it from the tempo of your project if you wanted to. I can't imagine why you would, but it naturally does lock to the project. And then there's a tab here for grooves, and you can just literally audition. You can listen to different grooves, and basically they're organized very well. Like there's verses, choruses, fills, intros, bridges, so on and so forth. This progress bar thing is for intensity. That's neat. You know how loud or soft it is. It will tell you the power hand. So in other words, where do you actually subdividing with? So it'll be a closed hi-hat, ride cymbal, crash, whatever. That's really convenient to know. And then your time signature, how many bars the loop happens to be, the pattern, and the tempo. And you can, like anything else, you can sort it by any one of these. So, like if your tempo is, like this song is 76, you can sort it by tempo, and then go to 76 or thereabouts, and find patterns that were recorded to be at that tempo. But the cool part is you're not limited to that in any way. Whatever pattern you choose will play in the proper tempo. And the beauty of it is that it's all MIDI notes. So it's not time stretching, it's not processing audio. It's still individual samples. And so, if you pick something that's a different tempo, it'll play at the right tempo, and it won't, the only thing that could be weird about it is if the arrangement doesn't work in the tempo. If you pick something really slow and put it into a really fast, project or something, or vice versa. So here you have like endings, fills, intros, and the other thing that's kind of cool is that the patterns themselves, the verses, the choruses, whatever, usually end with a fill, but you have total flexibility. You can decide like okay, so I don't, the pattern's 8 bars, but I don't like the ending, so you can clip it down to 6, and you can just find a fill pattern, And even that, like, you know, you might want half of that. It's 1 bar long. You can, at 74, you can, you know, you can pull it. So if you like something, you just click on it and drag it down to this timeline. And I already have an arrangement here, so I'm not going to drag it down right now. But, you know, you can see, and you can expand your timeline. You know, you basically map out an entire song. And that's what I'll do with, like, I have artists who come in for me to produce them, and that's what we'll do. Like, you know, I'll map it out, you know, beat for beat, and you know, bar for bar, and then build on that. And you know, the huge advantage is it's everything's perfectly in time. There's no fluctuating, there's no rushing, there's no dragging. And we can get into like the issue of whether you want to humanize it. That's an option, of course, but at least in the beginning it's perfect, and that's a nice thing to build on, at least, you know. And then, so all right, so you drag your stuff down here, and you can cut and paste and drag and lengthen and shorten patterns, and make whatever combination you need to make to get your song down. And then there's a mixer as well. And so basically, each one of the drums is routed to an output channel, and like by default, it's coming out stereo, but in your DAW, you can actually turn on the outputs, and it will automatically break it out to multiple channels. And that's great, because particularly if you have, well, even if you're doing it completely in the box, having them in separate channels, you can, you know, process your kick, snare, everything else individually. The other thing that you can do in the mixer is, like, certain presets, certain kits will be organized a certain way. Like, they won't show you, you know, certain microphone perspectives. Like, there won't be a back of the room ambience, or there won't be, you know, the cross snare, like the mic's, you know, directly over the snare. And you can actually, on a lot of these, you can just turn those on. Like, you know, like the perspective exists. It may just not be in the preset. So you can turn them on. You can create another output and just route those microphones to that output, which is really convenient. Also, you can do things like, some packages, like some presets, will put the ride cymbal in with the overheads, and it's not very hard to just click on the ride cymbal, say, this is an example, and route it someplace else. Where is the routing? Yeah, anyway, so you can, you know, for instance, you could create its own output, and if you want to treat it separately. So there's an enormous amount of flexibility there, which is great. You know, there's so much more to it. So then there might be patterns where you like certain elements and not others. So there's also a grid view, where you can actually see the individual notes and hear them like you would in any DAW. And what's cool about this is, like, in a given pattern, you know, you can select, like, say, okay, so your snares are in the middle there. So you can select, like, your snares, and there they are down there. You can make them all louder or softer. Like, actually, that's acrostic. And even over here, this is a really powerful thing. A little bit like Logic's drummer app. There's a dynamics slider, so you can, you know, adjust the dynamics, and some will be louder, some will be softer. That's where the randomized thing is that we were talking about, and you can also adjust the velocity from a slider as opposed to just dragging them up and down. But, you know, the other thing you can do is, if you can change the arrangement. Like, if there's hits you don't like, you can just simply delete them, or you can, you know, write them in. You can do a pencil. And you see all of your individual drums here if you want to add something that wasn't there beforehand. And not only that, you can copy like just your hi-hat, and notice when I click on that, it selects all the hi-hat notes, and copy it and paste it into an entirely different pattern. So you can really customize and make exactly what you want, and it's very cool. The net result is it's just, I've never had a software that can really get so close to doing what I need on drums. Doing all of this is a little involved, and I think I can hear a lot of people saying to themselves, gee, that would take longer than having a real drummer. And you're right, it would. But the question is, do you have access to a drummer this good? And some people do, some people don't. Also, do you have a room to record a drummer in this good? A lot of people don't. If you're working in a bedroom studio, this is an incredible solution. And one thing that's really cool as well, that is a pretty recent discovery for me. Let's get out of that window. Whoops. Let me open it again. One thing that's really cool is you can, here, let me get back to there. On the mixer over here, you can actually control on every single output or mic channel how much bleed there is of every other drum, which is really amazing. If you, you can even also change your envelope releases too, which is also really, really cool. But like, for instance, so let's take our ambient height, right? This is like a room situation. So I've gone in and customized, like, okay, I don't want to hear as much kick in that, and I'd like to hear the overheads, and I've customized exactly what I want to hear in that room, like, and how much, and that's amazing. Like, that's the kind of thing, even when you have live drums and you could have a great recording, but you're still sort of sitting there going, gee, this is a great mic, but I wish there was less whatever, China in this, or whatever, whatever is dominating. So that can be really awesome. And then once you, yes, it's a lot of work, but once you sort of get a setting that you like any other instrument, or plugin, you can save it as a preset, and make that a starting point. The other thing that's really, this is a basic part of it, but it's, shouldn't go unmentioned, is you can, while you're playing the pattern, you can swap out your instruments, so like, I don't like this kick, I can choose from others or go into the library, and like, there's tons and tons and tons of stuff, like, these are just the libraries I happen to have here. The Music City is the Nashville one, and the Legacy of Rock, I believe, is the Eddie Kramer one. But it's just, there's nothing like it, it's incredible. And so then the last point being that, like, you can, for me at least, I'm doing all my mixing analog, with analog summing on this API box console. So just like an analog drum kit, I have my tracks broken out coming out of Superior, and I'm running, SSL channel strip plugins on them, and then, busing them to here. So, my kick is going through my API 550A EQ, and I have it inserted into a purple compressor. And it's pretty awesome by the time it's going through all of that. And again, just like an analog kit, I'm creating a bus, drum bus off of the stereo aux 3.4 sending that to the distressors and bringing that back here as a sort of as a parallel, you know, drum thing. It's just great. And you know, I have more than one client. I have quite a few clients that get really persnickety about their drums, and you know, very often we wind up replacing a lot of analog drums with triggers anyway. And you know, if it ends up going down that rabbit hole, I really feel like you're better off just going this way. Like if you need to control everything that much, then take the control. This one gives you everything, all the control. And it's a beautiful thing. And what's really fun too is just like reamping a bass or anything else, you know, we can offer as a service to anybody, certainly with Superior Drummer. The thing I haven't tried yet is I haven't tried to open an Easy Drummer file in Superior. It must work, right? It's the same software. But so anybody that's doing drums in Superior or Easy Drummer, you know, this studio, we have Pro Tools, Logic, Ableton, and Nuendo, which can open Cubase files. So you can actually send us a project with your Superior Drummer or Easy Drummer files, and you know, and have us process it and capture, you know, analog stems for you if you like. And you know, that's just something available as a service. So that could be real interesting too. But yeah, I mean, you know, like I said in the beginning, I'm just having a lot of fun with it, and I just wanted to share because it's great. And I continue, you know, learning more and more about it. It's just a phenomenal program. And you know, I'm just getting into the humanizing features and everything, but it's so good. So all right, thanks everybody, and I'll see you soon. Take care.